That is something which you have to remember. ठीक है. Now let us move back with our major focus towards South India. Deccan का हमने इसलिए in between बात किया because Deccan is an area which connects North India to South India. तो इसलिए हमने एक बेसिक आइडिया लगा लिया कि सतवाहनास का वहाँ रूल स्टार्ट होता है. बट द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट एरिया फॉर आवर एग्जाम, देखो संगम एज हर 2 साल 3 साल में एक क्वेश्चन पक्का है. अब वो 23 में आ गया तो 24 में तो आएगा नहीं, बट फिर भी हम लोगों को तो पढ़ना ही है, समझना ही है. इफ वी सी, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस प्लेस इज उरैयूर. ओके, दिस इज Karur, okay, and this place is Madurai. These three are the most important places. Why? Urayur, it was the capital of earlier Cholas. Karur was the capital of Cheras, and Madurai was the capital of Pandyas. Okay, it was the capital of Pandyas. So we have these three specific capitals, three specific area. This area was under the control of the Cheras. This was under the control of Pandyas, and this area was under the control of Cholas. Okay, and all of them, they were having their specific ports also. हर किसी का अपना एक port था. ठीक है, like one of the most famous port, it is known as Mujeris. This Mujeris port was under the control of Cheras. Okay, for the Pandyas, I hope all of you can say this, the area of Korkai. Korkai was very famous, even though they also had Kayalpattinam, but more important was Korkai. And for them, okay, they had the port of Poompuhar. Okay, Poompuhar या फिर पुहर भी बोलते हैं इसको. ठीक है, that is their port. And Arikamedu. Arikamedu was something which was under their control. Arikamedu मतलब पौंडीचेरी. आज के पौंडीचेरी को पहले क्या बोलते थे? Arikamedu. ठीक है. But anyway, whenever we discuss about Sangam age, okay, we have to understand two things. Number one, we are mostly discussing about the area of Tamilkam. ज्यादातर फोकस कहां पे है? तमिलनाडु पे. दैट इज नंबर 1. नंबर 2, द एरिया वाज डिवाइडेड अमंग 3 स्पेसिफिक डायनेस्टीज who were not evolved states. They were not evolved states. They are mostly chiefdoms, and they were having their specific area under their control. Very important. When we will talk about Sangam age, the patronage came from one dynasty, and that was the dynasty of Pandyas. Okay, that was the dynasty of Pandyas. Now, whenever we talk about Sangam age, the time period is roughly from 380 to 300 BC to 300 AD. This is the time period that we have. Okay, 3 places where we have the Sangams. The first is the place known as Madurai itself. Okay, कोई इसको तेन मदुराई भी बोलता है. Second, it was at Kapatapuram, and the last one again, it was at a Madurai. The 3 Sangams has happened, first, second and third. Madurai, Kapatapuram, and again Madurai. Why I am telling you all this? Last year, not in 23, in 2022, मेंस में यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा मैप में. ओके, प्लेस ऑफ सेकंड संगम. और फर्स्ट और थर्ड तो सबको पता है, मदुराई, हर कोई लिख देगा. इसने कौन सा पूछा? कपातापुरम. ओके, कपातापुरम इट्स ऑफन कंसिडर्ड अ प्लेस वेरी क्लोज टू दिस एरिया, एंड मोस्टली टुडे वी सी कि आज की डेट में शायद वो एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है. इट इज अंडर द वाटर लेवल. ठीक है, कपातापुरम. सो कपातापुरम वाज आस्क्ड इन द एग्जाम इटसेल्फ. तो थोड़ा सा ना फैक्ट्स वाला जो चीज है, इसलिए हम लोगों को याद रहना चाहिए कि 3 संगम है, पहला और तीसरा कहाँ पे? मदुराई में. द सेकंड इज एट कपातापुरम. ऑल द 3 संगम्स, they were given patronage by only one dynasty, and that dynasty was Pandyas. Now whenever we go into the Sangam age, okay, there are lots of things which we need to understand, because बहुत सारी नई चीजें हैं इसमें. Definition is clear. The last 3 centuries before the Common Era and the first 3 centuries of Common Era are widely accepted as the Sangam period, or 3rd century BC all the way to 3rd century AD. Generally, this age can be taken from the beginning of historic age. Again, this is important. I have told you previously, okay, that the beginning of history or the historic age, it starts or links with script. Suppose आपको कोई क्वेश्चन बना दे at the beginning of historic age in South India, it starts from option A में आ जाए मेगालिथिक पीरियड, सेकंड में आ जाए संगम एज, थर्ड में आ जाए कालभ्रास, फोर्थ में आ जाए पल्लवास. So I think it would be easy to remember Sangam age, because from here we see the development of script. ठीक है, देखो ये थोड़ी सी टेक्निकल चीजें हैं, इतना कोई एम्फेसाइज नहीं करता इन पे. बहुत सिंपल सिंपल चीजें बट कोई एम्फोसाइज नहीं करता, बट अगर कभी प्रीलिम्स में आने लग गई तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा, बिकॉज जीएस के बच्चों को इतना समझ में नहीं आता कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ बिग हिस्टोरिक एज, बट एज एन ऑप्शनल स्टूडेंट्स ऑल ऑफ यू शुड बी अवेयर अबाउट इट। जब भी आपको प्रीलिम्स में एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स लेके आने हैं ये चीजें आपको क्लियर होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। like if I give you a statement, the statement is like that at the beginning of the historic age in India it's common in North and South India, तो वो क्या होगा, wrong, because in North India it begins from 6th century BC, बट यहाँ पे जो टाइम पीरियड हम मोस्टली मानते हैं, ठीक है, इसको आप ये याद रखना 4th to 2nd century BC, this is roughly the time period which is considered as the beginning of historic age, okay। so mostly हम संगम एज को ही मानते हैं, from where we see the beginning of inscriptions. Now whenever we talk about understanding the Sangam age, we have large categories of sources. The first category, that is the archaeological, and in the archaeological what all do we have? The megalithic burial sites of the early historic period, okay, then we have the excavated material from ancient sites including ports, capital towns, architectural remains from Arika Medu, Kodumanal, Anangulam as well as Urayu. तो जो भी हमारे remains है of the previous times of our architecture, that also becomes one of the part of understanding the Sangam age. Buddhist site with stupas and chaityas जो भी हमें आंध्रा कर्नाटका रीजन में मिलता है, that also give us some understanding. Coins, very very important, right? Coins provided information. Coins as a medium of exchange, they were introduced for the first time during which age? Sangam age. तो ये चीज ध्यान रखना, the beginning of your inscriptions or your script, the beginning of your coins, both of them they are linked to Sangam age. We find the coins of Cheras, Cholas as well as Pandyas, and these coins they were punch marked coins, and as we have already discussed that starting from megalithic period they were having trade with Romans, so Roman coins also were important source of evidence of Sangam age because उनके साथ में उनका trade directly था. Punch marked coins have been found at Kodumanal as well as Bodhi-Neyakanur, okay. There also we have found Roman coins that are concentrated in Coimbatore region, okay, and they are found in different places including Karur as well as Madurai, वहाँ पर भी हमें मिलता है, and they were used as bullion for their metal value and as ornament. So as it is possible कि उनको directly coins की तरह use नहीं करते थे, even though they were given by the Romans as coins as a medium of exchange, but in Indian society they may have been used as bullion, है ना, सोने का जैसे सिक्का, सिक्के की तरह नहीं, bullion जो होता है ना, ठीक है, उसकी तरह यूटिलाइज करते थे. Then even some other inscription provide information about Sangam age, जिसमें सबसे टॉप पे कौन सा आता है? Ashokan inscription. Ashokan inscription also mention about them, okay, written in Prakrit, found in Andhra as well as Karnataka region. We have some Tamil Brahmi inscription which have been found from the caves of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, such as that of Magulam, Jambai as well as Pugalur. Even Satavahana inscription and other Buddhist inscription of the Andhra region, they provide information. Plus some inscription found on pottery, rings, stone in Tamil Nadu, they also provide information. Outside India if we go, so some of the potteries have been found from areas like Egypt, तो वहां से भी हमें कुछ information किसके बारे में मिलता है? संगम एज के बारे में, ठीक है. Tamil Brahmi inscription that we are talking about, this has been found so far from how many sites? 30 sites. 30 जगह से हमें मिली है inscriptions, mostly on cave surveys and rock shelters, and they were the abode mostly of Jaina monks. So Jainism played a very important role in the beginning of the earliest of the inscriptions of Tamil Nadu, okay, they played a very important role. The natural caves were converted into residence by cutting a drip line to keep the rain water away from these areas. So Tamil Brahmi inscriptions are very important. समझ तो आएगी नहीं, but ऐसा कुछ दिखता है, ठीक है. This is the inscription that is utilized in the Tamil Brahmi script using Sangam age for writing the Tamil language. Then inscriptions on pottery, they also help us in understanding about them, what kind of culture could have been there. Not that much important right now, okay. The most important part with respect to Sangam literature, it is their literary sources. सबसे ज़्यादा information कहाँ से आती है? Literary sources से. इसको एक बार डिटेल में आप समझ लीजिए, because whenever you have to write your understanding of Sangam age, 99% आप किस चीज़ के बारे में लिखोगे? Literature के बारे में लिखोगे. Tamil texts including Sangam and post-Sangam literature, okay. The Puranas also mention the genealogies of Satavahanas. Buddhist chronicles like that of महावंशा, है ना, they also provided information. Then Gatha Saptashi is a Prakrit text which is composed by Satvana King Hala, that also provides some information. But with respect to Tamil, the most important part is classical Sangam literature. This classical Sangam literature, अभी इसको समझेंगे अच्छे से, कितने पार्ट्स में डिवाइड होती है, क्या होती है, वर्ड्स आप याद करने की कोशिश कर लीजिए, बिकॉज इट्स अ डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज, नॉट दैट इजी, नॉट हिंदी, नॉट संस्कृत, नॉट इंग्लिश. नाउ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टेक्स्ट, इट इज नोन एज तोलकापियम, है ना. This Tolkappiyam, it's a text on Tamil grammar, but at the same time, it also provides information on the parts of society. Like the manner in which the Tamil society was divided, it comes directly from Tolkappiyam. Tolkappiyam की एक और चीज आप याद रखोगे, पूरी Tolkappiyam book नहीं है part. The first two specific books of Tolkappiyam, they are part of the Tamil literature. But ऐसा नहीं भी कहीं लिखोगे चल जाएगा. But कभी बहुत complex question prelims में आ गया, तो पूरा तोलकापियम पार्ट नहीं है संगम लिटरेचर का. फर्स्ट टू बुक्स ऑफ तोलकापियम, दे आर पार्ट ऑफ दिस. देन वी हैव दिस पठेन मिलानकू, दे आर नोन एज 18 मेजर वर्क. 18 मेजर वर्क्स बोलते हैं, जिनको दो पार्ट में तोड़ते हैं हम, ठीक है, अभी आगे पढ़ेंगे उनके बारे में. वन इज नोन एज पट्टू पट्टू. पट्टू पट्टू कंसिस्ट ऑफ 10 मेजर सॉन्ग्स, एंड देन देयर इज एटुटोगई. थोड़ी सी तमिल तो याद करनी पड़ती है to understand the Sangam literature. So this is the 18 major works. इसको चाहे आप 18 major work ऐसे याद कर लो, मेरे को ज्यादा आसान लगता है. It is easy, है ना, rhyming है. पट्टू पट्टू and एटुटोगई. This consists of 10 great songs. This consists of the 8 major works. तो इन दोनों को मिला दे तो कितना जाता है? 18 major works. ऐसे हो जाता है, ठीक है. If you wish to remember, याद कर लीजिए. Along with this, we also have Patnen Kilaknaku, which is 18 minor works, and finally we have some epics. दो famous epics तो हर किसी को पता है, शिलापदिकरम and मणिमेखलाई. But other than this also they have epics. इस पूरे को मिला लोगे तो टोटल क्या होता है? क्लासिकल तमिल लिटरेचर. अब ये जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है ना, हर बुक में अलग अलग. If we go by Upinder Singh says that only first two books of Tolkappiyam, पट्टू पट्टू एंड एटुटोगई, सिर्फ यही पार्ट है आपका संगम लिटरेचर का. अब हम तमिलनाडु के एनसीईआरटी पढ़ रहे हैं तो वो 5 एपिक्स डाल देते हैं उसके अंदर. सो इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू कम टू द कंक्लूजन कि इवेंचुअली क्या है. लेकिन यूपीएससी सबसे ज्यादा कौन सी बुक को मानता है? उपिंदर सिंह को. उसी के आंसर्स को फाइनल शेप देता है. इसलिए आप भी क्या याद रखेंगे? फर्स्ट 2 बुक्स ऑफ तोलकापियम एंड दिस 18 मेजर वर्क्स, दे आर द मेजर कंपोनेंट ऑफ योर संगम लिटरेचर. दे डू नॉट कंसिडर the 5 epics as part of संगम लिटरेचर. वो देखो बाद में है, पोस्ट संगम को बिलोंग करता है, ठीक है. बट अगर आप ये बुक पढ़ोगे एनसीईआरटीज में, इन्होंने सिंप्लीफाई कर देगी, सब कुछ एक साथ डालो, कहानी खत्म करो. नाउ एज वी वर डिस्कसिंग, तोलकापियम इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दिस इज रिटन बाय तोलकापियर एंड दिस इज द अर्लीस्ट रिटन वर्क ऑन तमिल ग्रामर, है ना, अर्लीस्ट है. जैसे हमारे पास अष्टदई है, Ashtadhyayi is the earliest work on the Sanskrit literature. Thereafter, Patanjali wrote Mahabhashya. But in case of Tamil Nadu, we have Tolkappiyam. Apart from elaborate rules of grammar, the third section of Tolkappiyam also describes poetic conventions that provide information on Tamil social life. Then, text of Pathen Milanku, it consists of Pattu Pattu. Pattu Pattu के अंदर हमारे पास 10 songs है, 10 idyls, and Etutogai, which consists of the 8 anthologies. These texts are the oldest among the classical Tamil texts and they are belong to a later date. Then एटुटोगई, ये सब याद मत करो, होगा भी नहीं, भूल जाओगे, ठीक है. बस हमें क्या याद रखना है? तोलकापियम, पट्टू पट्टू एंड एटुटोगई. These 3, when we combine them, it is known as your Sangam age literature. That's it. ये भी याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, पट्टू पट्टू 10 याद तो होंगे नहीं ये सब, ठीक है. देन वी हैव 5 एपिक्स व्हिच इंक्लूड शिलापदिकरम, मणिमेखलाई, व्हिच इज वेरी कॉमन, बट दे आल्सो हैव सेवका चिंतामणि, वलयापति एज वेल एज कुंडलकेशी. तो ये 3 भी और भी हैं. इनको बस आप इसलिए याद कर लेना, कभी प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन बन जाए, व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर तमिल एपिक्स, है ना, व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग. तो मैक्सिमम लोग जिन्होंने ये एनसीईआरटीज नहीं पढ़ी तमिलनाडु की, वो क्या लिखेंगे? फर्स्ट मणिमेखलाई एंड शिलापदिकरम. आंसर क्या होगा? ऑल ऑफ द अबव. सो दैट्स व्हाई यू कैन रिमेंबर शिलापदिकरम, मणिमेखलाई, Shivaka Chintamani, Valyapati, as well as Kundalakashi. So these all five, they are the 5 epics that we have. Anyway, all of them, they combine together and they provide us information about the Tamil society. ठीक है, वो information वहीं से निकल के आती है. Other than this, non-Tamil sources which provide us some information about Sangam age, that includes Arthashastra. Like Arthashastra talks about specifically Pandya Kavataka. So this means the pearl and the shell from the Pandyan country. So some information of Pandya is there. Then Mahavamsha, which is a Sri Lankan text, that provides some information about merchant as well as horse trader from the Tamil Nadu era. तो ऐसा कभी कोई क्वेश्चन बन के आ जाए, which of the following sources provide information about the Sangam age indirectly और in a sparsely manner. तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कौन कौन सा है. अर्थशास्त्र भी उसके अंदर इंक्लूड होता है. Then Mahavamsha is already there, right? Then we have Periplus of Erythraean Sea. Periplus का मतलब क्या होता है specifically? Navigational guide of Erythraean Sea. Erythraean Sea means Red Sea. ठीक है. And this person eventually did not write his name, है ना, जैसे शेक्सपियर से पहला शेक्सपियर के हिसाब से है ना कि व्हाट्स इन द नेम, नाम क्या करना लिख के, ऐसे लिख के चले जाते हैं. So that's how this Periplus of Erythraean, it talks about the commercial history of India. जितने भी हमारे पोर्ट्स हैं, जैसे कि मुचरी इज नो मोर लाइक मुजरिस, ऐसे बहुत सारे पोर्ट्स का इन्होंने यहाँ पे बात किया हुआ है. What was imported from these ports, what was exported from these ports, what kind of coins were utilized as a medium of exchange, all that information is given in Periplus of Erythraean Sea, and it is very important to understand India's commercial history. जब भी हम foreign accounts की बात करते हैं, when we talk about foreign account, how the foreigners help us in understanding about our own history, this remains text number 1 with respect to the commercial history. इसको हमेशा सबसे टॉप पे रखा जाता है. Then comes Pliny. Pliny has written natural history, and he was a Roman. He has written this in Latin, and this provides lot of information about India and mostly about the pepper trade. है ना, black pepper was also think of as the black gold. There was very high demand of these spices in the Europe, and that's why they had to give up the gold to us on regular basis. That's why Pliny was very, very unhappy with the manner in which India was getting more gold from Roman area. You also have Ptolemy's geography. That also provides us some information with respect to this. They have mentioned about Kaveri Patnam, they have mentioned about Korkai as well as Kanyakumari. All these areas of India are also mentioned in Ptolemy's geography. तो कभी सोचो प्रीलिम्स में ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ जाए, कहाँ से इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है अबाउट संगम एज, या अपने ऑप्शनल में क्वेश्चन आ जाए, ओके, विच इवेल्युएट द वेरियस सोर्सेस विच प्रोवाइड इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द संगम एज. तो भाई ठीक है, 90% तो हम संगम लिटरेचर को ही बोलेंगे, बट अदर देन दैट विल राइट अ स्मॉल पोर्शन अबाउट आर्कोलॉजिकल सोर्सेज विच इंक्लूड्स तमिल ब्राह्मी इंस्क्रिप्शन एज वेल एज द कॉइनेज. अदर देन दैट जब हम टेक्स्ट की बात करेंगे तो आप ये सारे टेक्स्ट एक साथ लिख दोगे, विच इंक्लूड्स योर अर्थशास्त्र, महावंशा, पेरिप्लस ऑफ एरिथ्रेयन सी और नेचुरल हिस्ट्री ऑफ द प्लिनी एंड फाइनली प्टोलेमीज ज्योग्राफी. ये सारी की सारी उससे डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड है. कभी प्रीलिम्स में कोई डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन बन के आ जाए तो देखो ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. ठीक है, सो जो जितने भी बेकार दिन होते हैं ना, जिस दिन ऐसे क्वेश्चन बने, उस दिन हमें मजा आना चाहिए, बिकॉज नेचुरली वेयर अदर पीपल्स हैव डिसएडवांटेज, वहां हम किंग बनेंगे. दैट्स हाउ दिस एग्जाम वर्क्स. तो हमेशा ध्यान रखो कि डिफिकल्ट चीज अगर सीख रहे हो उसका एडवांटेज ही मिलने वाला, डिसएडवांटेज कुछ भी नहीं है. नाउ द टर्म मूवेंदर, इसको आप याद रखेंगे. दिस इज अ टर्म, ओके, व्हिच वी सी, एंड दीज 3 तमिल रूलिंग फैमिलीज, दे वर गिवन द टाइटल ऑफ मूवेंदर. इनको मूवेंदर बोलते थे. ओके, they were known to Ashoka also in 3rd century BC, which we have already seen, and the 3 crowned king. अगर मूवेंदर का मतलब 3 crowned king, Cheras, Cholas as well as Pandyas. There is also mentioning of Satyaputras. Okay, these Satyaputra, they are found in the Ashoka inscription along with the above. They were more of a lower level chief and they were known as Velir chief, lower level chief. Okay, in the Sangam poems. Okay, the Satyaputras bhi the, but they were on the lower level. The Cholas, as we have already seen in the map, the Cholas control the central and northern part of Tamil Nadu. That is very clear. Their core area was the Kaveri Delta, later known as the Chola Mandalam, and their capital was at which place? Yes, Uraiyur, Puhar or Kaveri Patnam was their alternative royal residence as well as chief port town. और हर किसी का एक emblem था. Their emblem was tiger. Tiger was their emblem. Kaveri Patnam attracted merchants from various regions of the Indian Ocean. Okay, then one of the most famous personality among them, that is Karikal, है ना, most famous person, and he is famous for this battle of Vanni. In this battle of Vanni, they defeated Cheras as well as Pandyas, and even the 11 Velir chieftain, और छोटे छोटे chiefs थे उनको उन्होंने उसमें हरा दिया. That's why Karikal is one of the most famous king from the times of Cholas. If we talk about Cheras, the territory which was under their control, it includes central and northern Kerala as well as the Congo region of Tamil Nadu. Their capital was at Vanji, which is very much close to Karur, which we have discussed. Okay, and the famous port, that is the port of Mujeres. Mujeres was under their control. Mujeres as a port is going to continue till 12th and 13th century AD, where that was eventually affected by the flooding. और आज भी एक heritage project चल रहा है on this Mujeres as a site. तो वो चल रहा है अभी भी केरला में. Okay, then there were 8 major Chera kings. Their emblem was bow and arrow, and eventually इनके जो टाइटल्स वगैरह है, नेम्स है किंग्स के, आप चाहो तो यू कैन सिंपली लीव इट. ठीक है, इवन दो बहुत सारे डिटेल में लिखा हुआ है, कैसे प्रोनाउंस करते हैं ये भी नहीं पता. लाइक वी सी दिस Chengutawan, we do not know, he defeated many chieftains and said to have ensured the safety of the great port Mujeres by putting down piracy. So these people were there, important personalities, but आपको ऐसा जिनके किंग्स के नाम याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Pandyas, the area under their control was the Madurai region, okay, or the southern part of Tamil Nadu. Porkai was their main port. Fish was their major emblem, and Mangolam Tamil Brahmi inscription mentions the Pandyan king, okay, अभी पता नहीं क्या नाम है, कैसे pronounce किए, Nedun Chejia, okay, of 2nd century BC, and eventually he was one of the stronger personality. They also had various chieftains under their control, all right, but the most important thing is state system has not developed fully in this Sangam age, and they're mostly like the chieftains. अब इसमें उन्होंने कुछ arguments दिए हुए हैं, ठीक है, वो हम बात करेंगे थोड़ी देर में. कुछ arguments दिए मैंने उन्होंने. Sangam poem help us understand the social formation of the time, and according to this concept, Tamilgam was divided into how many landscape? 5 landscape. 5 parts में इसको divide करते थे, which includes Kurinji, Mulai, Marutam, Nethan as well as Palai, and all of them they used to have different gods as well as goddesses. तो हमने एक ऐसे box सा बना दिया for easy understanding. तो Kurinji था, it was the region of hilly region हो गया, and they were mostly having hunting and food gathering. Then second was Mulai. Mulai region was the forested region, and eventually pastoralism or the animal husbandry combined with shifting cultivation, this was their occupation. Marutham, the riverine tract, okay, agriculture using plough as well as irrigation. Nethal was the coastal land, fishing and salt making were their occupation. And बाद में रह गया Palai, the area which was not fit for any kind of cultivation. So their major profession, it was cattle lifting and robbery, you know? And they used to worship Kalima. And naturally, gods are also going to be with respect to what you are doing, and that is very much linked to the Palai. So these, जब भी कभी भी क्वेश्चन आ जाए संगम एज में, and whenever they ask you that what information do they provide us towards their society, ये आपका फर्स्ट पॉइंट होना चाहिए. कौन सा पॉइंट होना चाहिए? फर्स्ट पॉइंट होना चाहिए. बहुत बच्चों के साथ होता है ये, इस बार भी थे बहुत सारे बच्चे, बॉक्स बनाते हैं, 5x5 का एक बॉक्स बनता है पूरा इलेबोरेट, एक साइड लिखते हैं, 4 भूल जाते हैं. बिकॉज बीइंग फ्रॉम नॉर्थ इंडिया आई अंडरस्टैंड थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, बट देखो हर जगह रियायत नहीं मिलने वाली लाइफ में. जब ये एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो तो कहीं ना कहीं तो रट्टाफिकेशन करना ही पड़ेगा, ठीक है. एंड दिस इज वन सच एरिया. आई नो अ चैलेंज, डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज, नॉट ईजी, है ना. ऐसा भी नहीं है कि हिंदी और संस्कृत है भाई बहन वाले सिचुएशन है, ऐसा भी नहीं है. दिस इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दिस, बिकॉज इवेंचुअली वर्ड्स के मीनिंग हमें याद नहीं रहते किसका मतलब क्या है, बट रट्टाफिकेशन करो, है ना. जब भी संगम में जाएगी, रट्टाफिकेशन इज द ओनली वे विच इज गोइंग टू सेव यू. दिस ईयर इट केम, जिसने भी रट्टाफिकेशन किया तो 150 160 मार्क्स लेके बैठे, जिसने नहीं किया 120 125 पे. अब ये आपको डिसाइड करना है, एक बारी में पास होना है या 4 बार मुझसे सुनोगे कि ये रटना है. इट इज यूजुअली लाइक दिस. 80% पूरी यूपीएससी मुझे तो यही लगता है रट्टाफिकेशन. 20% दिमाग लगाना है, वो भी तभी लगाना जहाँ जरूरत है ना. जहाँ पे नहीं है वहां दिमाग नहीं लगाना, वहां रट्टा मारो, लिखो एक्सेल. नाउ तमिल पॉलिटी की अगर हम बात करें, थिनाई क्लासिफिकेशन हमने देख लिया जो कि 5 पार्ट में डिवाइडेड है. देन वी हैव द पॉलिटिकल हायरार्की, लाइक वी हैव द किजर, दे वर द village level head. Over there they used to be village. These were numerous chiefs controlling diverse territories. Then eventually we had the Venda. These were the kings of larger fertile territories. And finally, as we have already seen, सबसे top पे कौन थे? Movendar, who were dividing it into 3 areas. So this is the way Tamil polity was divided. Please read the last line. Okay, last 2 lines. The earlier and dominant view is that Sangam age society was a well organized state society. State society. The other view which is put forward in recent decades is that polities of the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas, they were pre-state chieftain. Chieftains बोल दो या chiefdom बोल दो, बात बराबर ही है. अब इसके ऊपर उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दी हुई हैं. अब ये आपके कोई बुक में नहीं, ये सिर्फ एनसीईआरटी में दी हुई है, बिकॉज नेचुरली लिंक टू तमिलनाडु. आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉर द लेटर व्यू कि व्हाई वी कैन नॉट कॉल देम एज स्टेट. तो हम क्या बोलते हैं? नंबर 1, नो सोशल स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन इज नोटिस. सेकंड, प्रॉपर टेरिटोरियल एसोसिएशन इज एब्सेंट. अब किसके ऊपर किसका कंट्रोल है, किसके पास सॉवरेंटी है, वो क्लियर है ही नहीं, पता ही नहीं चल रहा है. नंबर 3, डिस्ट्रक्टिव वॉरफेयर डिड नॉट अलाउ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड सरप्लस प्रोडक्शन फॉर द इमरजेंस ऑफ स्टेट. कल हमने बात किया था, द फर्स्ट थिंग विच इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द इमरजेंस ऑफ स्टेट इज अ सरप्लस ऑफ agriculture. Again, that is absent. No evidence of taxation as in the governments of North India. Taxation का हमें पता नहीं है. अब ये मोस्टली किस बेसिस पे चल रहे हैं? ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ वॉलंटरी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन और बाय फोर्स. ना शांति से नहीं मानोगे तो फोर्स के थ्रू आ जाएंगे. बट इफ देयर वाज रेगुलर टैक्सेशन और नॉट, वी डू नॉट नो. बट दिस हैज बीन काउंटर्ड बाय सम ऑफ द आर्ग्यूमेंट्स व्हिच इंक्लूड्स नंबर 1, a closer look at the Sangam literature reveals the social differentiation. It is evident in the मरुथाम रीजन. कुछ एक स्पेसिफिक रीजन में हमें डिफरेंशिएशन मिलता है. सेकंड, टेरिटोरियल एसोसिएशन आर वेरी क्लियर इन द केस ऑफ मूवेंदर एंड देयर इंपॉर्टेंट पोजीशन इज कोरोबोरेटेड बाय द ग्रीको-रोमन टेक्स्ट फ्रॉम द 1st century CE. Warfare for territorial expansion was a major theme of this area. Evidence of taxation at the highways at the ports of Kaviripatnam is cited. The Chera king is spoken as receiving the resources from the hill as well as the port of Muziris. And finally, trade played an important role between the late 1st century BC and 3rd century CE. So, अगर suppose कभी एक question optional में आ जाए, do you think that the state है ना or the chieftains of the Tamil region can be considered as a form of evolved state? तो आप क्या करोगे? दोनों तरफ के पहलू रख दोगे. देखो हिस्ट्री में हमेशा कंक्लूजन नहीं होता है. जीएस और ऑप्शनल में एक यही डिफरेंस होता है जिसको आपको समझना है बहुत जल्दी. हम हमेशा चाहते हैं फॉर इजी अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि एक कंक्लूजन बता दो कि वाज देयर फ्यूडलिज्म इन इंडिया. अब यस और नो में आंसर है ही नहीं. कैन वी कॉल दीज 3 स्पेसिफिक एरियाज लाइक चेरा, चोलास एंड पांड्यास, क्या ये चीफटेन्स थे या फिर स्टेट सिस्टम है? यस और नो, बड़ा मुश्किल है. दीज आर ओपिनियंस. सम ओपिनियंस से यस दे वर नॉट इवॉल्व्ड स्टेट, द अदर से दे वर हैविंग सम एलिमेंट्स ऑफ स्टेट, इवन इफ नॉट द प्रॉपर स्टेट ऑफ नॉर्थ इंडिया, सम एलिमेंट्स. जैसे उन्होंने कहा टैक्सेशन था नहीं, तो ये क्या बोलने लगे? नहीं, टैक्सेशन मैंने हाईवे पे देखा है ना, पोर्ट पे हमने टैक्स लिया है. इट मीन टैक्सेशन सिस्टम वाज देयर. इट्स नॉट दैट इट वाज कंप्लीटली एब्सेंट. सो व्हेनेवर वी स्टडी हिस्ट्री वी हैव टू बी कंप्लीटली अवेयर कि हमेशा यस और नो में आंसर नहीं मिलने वाला है. सो द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज यस, एज आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, द मोस्ट एक्सेप्टेड व्यू जो आज की डेट में है वो क्या है? दैट दीज आर प्री स्टेट chiefdoms, most accepted view है. However, still we can argue from both sides. दोनों तरीके से हम आर्ग्यू कर सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट इस वाले पेज को आप आराम से नोट्स भी बना सकते हो. ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा इन्होंने इसके ऊपर पॉइंट दिया हुआ है. सोशल स्ट्रक्चर का हम बात करें, ठीक है, तो वेंदास वॉर वेजिंग वाज समथिंग व्हिच वाज ऑलवेज देयर. एंडेमिक वॉरफेयर वाज देयर. इफ यू सी वुमेन्स रोल, देयर वाज समथिंग वेरी ब्यूटीफुल. नंबर 1, दे वर वेरी मच पार्ट ऑफ economic production. So it was not like North India. In North India, the women, they were mostly in the domestic sphere, but in case of South India, they were mostly part of economic production, and they were at significant number of women poets in the Sangam age. UPSC ना कभी भी आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ सकती है with respect to comparison of Rigved, comparing it with Sangam age or the Vedas in general. तो क्या क्या comparative चीज है जो हम याद रखनी चाहिए? So if we see number 1, Vedas, they are more of a religious text. However, the Sangam age, it is more secular in nature. Secular है ना, एक religious text है और एक secular है. वहां पे मेजर फोकस किस पे है? स्पिरिचुअलिटी पे. स्पिरिचुअलिटी के बारे में बात में आत्मा, ब्रह्मा. संगम एज फोकस इज ऑन लव एंड वॉरफेयर. अकम एंड पुरम, 2 types of poems we find. Rigved or the Vedas in general, they belong to the earlier era. They were composed from 1500 BC to 600 BC and finally written down all the way back during the Gupta period and thereafter. If we see the Sangam age, okay, the composition they belong to from 3rd or 2nd century BC all the way up to 3rd century AD. That is the time period of the composition. तो 4-5 चीजें आप हमेशा ध्यान रखो, ठीक है. And even during the Sangam age, these people were aware about the caste system. They were aware about Varna. Alright, they were aware about Varna. What? उसका किस level तक percolation हुआ society में, that is always debatable in nature. Like in North India, we had seen the development of the fourfold Varna by the end of the Vedic period itself. हमें पता चल गया था. But यहाँ पे it took a lot of time for that to develop. इसलिए बहुत लोग ये भी बोलते हैं, initially there were only 2 Varnas in South India. One was the Brahmanas and everyone else that was considered as part of the Shudras. दो Shudras नहीं थे. But धीरे-धीरे we see the development of Kshatriyas. Okay, that is something which we need to understand. If we talk about economy, craft production was there. Raw material was procured from many areas. Maritime trade, like in Mani Meghalai, we see the reference to Magda, artisan, etc. All the way coming to this area. Maratha merchants, they are also mentioned. Roman coins, circulated bullion, etc. All those information we find. Roman gold, silver coins, हर चीज हमें hoards मिलती है from this area. Okay. If we talk about ideology and religion, so Buddhism arrived in South India and Sri Lanka during the Ashoka's reign. But thereafter, we see the beginning of the process of Vedic practices. Okay, Vedic practices started. In fact, Saint Agastya is considered as the first sage who went south of Vindhyas, and that's how we see the beginning of the process of Aryanization of South India. Saint Agastya. Satavahana, Sangam kings, Ishwakus, they supported the Vedic sacrifices. They suggest Brahmins performed Vedic ritual, but the caste system was not established yet. ये ध्यान रखना. During the Sangam age, we did not see the establishment of caste system, or in other words, the Varna system. The evidence of Buddhism is widely found in South India, Krishna and Godavari delta of Andhra, as all of us know, Amaravati. That was very famous for Buddhism. Along with this, one of the most famous places, Nagarjuni Konda, where we found the stupa also. They were also show deep-rooted Buddhism became eventually. So this is how the ideology and religion of the area was now going to shift in the coming times. Okay. Jainism, we found various cave shelters in Tamil Nadu. That's where we find Jainism. And post Sangam centuries, Jain contributed substantially to the rise of Tamil literature. So all these religions, they have contributed to the rise of Tamil literature with the period of time. This is, we have already discussed the age of Kalabharas. अब हमें पता नहीं exactly कि what was going on. Okay, previously this was considered as a kind of dark age. Okay, so the period between Sangam age and the rise of Pallava Pandya period, this period is roughly between 300 to 600 AD, is known as the age of Kalabharas. ठीक है, इसको ये बोलते हैं in the history of Tamilzikam. As 3 distinct kingdoms disappeared in this due to occupation of their territory by warlike group, and this warlike group were known as Kalabharas. This period was called an interregnum or dark age by the earlier historian. इस age में कुछ specific progress ही नहीं हुई. It was also supposed that many good traits of the earlier culture that disappeared this time, but फिर कुछ लोग इसको counter करते हैं. How do they counter this? By seeing the composition of the later text. Like one of the most famous texts, it is that book of Tirukural, and this is one of the most famous texts, which is written by Thiruvallur. किसके ऊपर focus करती है ये? Love and ethics. These are the 2 major things. ये आपका prelims में कभी भी आ सकता है. ठीक है? Tirukural. This was written along with many other groups as the 18 minor works during this period. Epics like Shilapadikaram, Mani Meghalai, they were also belong to this period, as this was the time when Jainism and Buddhism became more influential. Scholars of the orthodox Vedic Puranic school seems to have created the impression that ruling Kalabharas of the time, they were evil in nature, because the major patronage, it went towards Buddhism and Jainism. That's why this concept of dark age has been associated with them. But in general इन लोगों के बारे में हमें कुछ नहीं पता. ठीक है, as such किस तरीके का इनका पॉलिटी था, कैसा स्पेसिफिक इकोनॉमी था. References are there, but streamline history is completely missing. यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं पता हमें, but ये word आप याद रखना, because maximum को तो पता भी नहीं होता ऐसा कुछ था. Okay, it is the age of Kalabharas. They were warlike people. there was, we cannot say that it was completely a dark age. देखो डार्क एज एक कंसेप्ट है जो ब्रिटिश ने अपनी हिस्ट्री पे जबरदस्ती डाल दिया है एक तरीके से, है ना. दे हैव जस्ट अफिक्स्ड दिस कीवर्ड टू मेक अस फील बिलिटल अबाउट आवर ओन हिस्ट्री, and then this has become a tradition to be used by many historians. Whenever they do not find an appropriate word, they come up back to the dark age, उसको यूटिलाइज कर देते हैं. बट वी डू नॉट नो एग्जैक्टली क्या था. तो दोनों तरीके के पर्सपेक्टिव इन्होंने दे दिए हैं कि पहले इसको डार्क एज बोलते थे, अब हम इसको नहीं बोलते. क्यों? बिकॉज वी सी कंपोजिशन ऑफ तिरुकुरल, वी सी कंपोजिशन ऑफ शिलापतिकरम, मणिमेखलाई, एंड दीज माइनर 18 works which belongs to the post Sangam period, which we have already discussed. Okay, and what could be the major reason why this has been called as a dark age? Because during this age we see the maximum patronage it went to Jainism and Buddhism. This is the major reason. Okay, तो हो सकता है स्मृतिज में इसमें लिखा गया हो. इनफैक्ट कलयुग भी जो वर्ड है वो भी इसलिए बोला जाता है because eventually the major patronage was shifting away from the Vedic period, है ना. Vedic religion से shift हो रहा था, that's why they use the word कलयुग. Okay, the recent interpretation of the period takes it as a period of transition leading to enlarged state societies under the Pallavas ruling over North Tamil Nadu and the Pandyas in the south from the 6th century onwards. So इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Age of transition. The rulers of these new states were patrons of the Jain and the Buddhist religion, and gradually they came under the spell of orthodox Vedic Puranic religion, emerging in the form of bhakti cult of Shaivism and Vaishnavism, जो हम आज डिस्कस भी करेंगे. I hope all of you know about Alvars and Nayanars, है ना, तो वो eventually emerge होगा. But the influence of Jain and Buddhist religion on the Jain society was so strong as to evoke much aversion from the Bhakti saints. Okay, this 300 to 600 AD, please remember it as the age of Kalabharas, which was the age of transition. Hi, a very good evening to all of you. Today I have come up with a very important announcement for history optional students. Those of you who are thinking about preparing it for 2025, एक बहुत अच्छा मौका आपके पास उसको अच्छे से लर्न करने का. I am Vikas Selawat. I was able to get the highest score in history optional in 2018, that is 324 marks. I was able to crack into services IRS as well as IPS. So अगर आपको history optional में अच्छा बनना है, few things are very essential. So this course that we are beginning with, history optional foundation outline batch, it has more than 150 sessions. In these sessions, the focus will be on concepts जो कि आपके fundamental रहते हैं. Then the focus will be on answer writing. पढ़ तो लिया लेकिन बिना लिखे आउटकम कैसे आएगा? सो दैट्स व्हाई आंसर राइटिंग विल बी फोकस ऑफ दिस. असाइनमेंट दिए जाएंगे आपको सो दैट यू कैन इवेंचुअली बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ इट और उसको प्रैक्टिस कर सको टाइम एंड टाइम अगेन. पीवाईक्यूज का कंपाइलेशन आपको दिया जाएगा, एंड देन इवन डाउट रेजोल्यूशन सेशंस आर गोइंग टू हैपन. इफ यू डू दिस मच, okay, the beginning of the foundation is going to become finished, and then you can eventually get to the next stage. इस पूरे 150 सेशंस को हमने इस तरीके से डिवाइड किया. 100 सेशंस आर देयर फॉर एंशिएंट, मिडिवल, मॉडर्न एंड वर्ल्ड. जितना भी एनसीईआरटीज है वो सारा क्रक्स आपको इसके अंदर मिल जाएगा. एंड बेसिक जो अपनी आंसर राइटिंग है उसके भी 6 सेशंस होने वाले हैं इसके साथ में. देन मोर देन 30 मॉडल आंसर्स विल बी शेयर्ड विद यू सो दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि जब आंसर लिखा जाता है तो किस किस पॉइंट्स को हमने प्रायोरिटी देनी है, इंट्रोडक्शन कैसे करना है, कंक्लूजन कैसे करना है. देन कंपाइलेशन तो आपको मिल ही जाएगा ऑफ लास्ट 40 years. सो इफ यू वांट these kinds of eventual help from our side and then become toppers like them, then आपको सिर्फ एक छोटा सा काम करना है, and that is you can register on the sheet. The moment you register, you're going to get a call from our team. Our team going to ensure that आपके पास क्या क्या requirement आपको चाहिए उसके हिसाब से आपको बात करके आपको deliver कर सके. And that's why you have to register, and then the team will help you out. Then eventually academic जो consultant है आपकी पूरी अच्छे से बात समझेंगे so that they can give you a tailor made solution for your requirement. तो ये जो चीज है आपको बिल्कुल free of cost मिल रही है. And if you are going to get eventually part of it, you'll understand क्या teaching methodology कैसी है at Prep Career IAS, and then later on if you want to become part of the foundation course, then you can become so. Okay, so whatever queries you have, just dial these numbers. आपको सारी queries आपकी resolve कर दी जाएंगी. Any kind of problem you're facing for civil services examination, this is your go-to institute for that purpose. ठीक है? So all the very best, and I'll see you in the coming videos.